Right, so today's episode apparently that I'm still going through apparently takes place from Esther chapter 7, okay? So, I'm going to be reading from the Blue Bible, Esther chapter 7 to all of you. And what we're going to be doing, my team, John, Tony, and I, and the cinematography effects, seen as Esther chapter 7 is only available in cartoon features, as it happens on the daily. We're going to be making a movie motion picture out of Esther chapter 7. So that's what we're going to be doing. And I'm going to take a little time to earn personal finances from the book of Esther, chapter 7, in the form of that of full live motion picture. Okay? Nehemiah, Esther, and then Job. So just before Psalms, just before the book of Psalms, Esther shows up. Nehemiah, Esther, eh, Esther chapter 7. And this is Esther chapter 7 right here. And we'll be reading the full chapter. Esther chapter 7 is called Haman Impaired. So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet. I performed as Rihanna last night, which would make sense because here in verse 1 it says, "So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet." Was I not supposed to perform as Rihanna last night for Haman and the king to be there? Was I not supposed to perform as Rihanna in order to make sure you have the right to prove Esther chapter 7 in its negative form, as in tell her to throw out the bread that your mother is about to make? Tell the child to throw out the bread that your mother is about to make. Was I not supposed to perform as Rihanna last night? Let's read that again. First lie uncovered. Did you perform as Rihanna? Esther chapter 7, verse 1. Lie unscripted. So the king and Haman went to Queen Esther's banquet. Verse 2. And as they were drinking wine on the second day, the king asked, "Queen Esther, what is your petition?" How is it the best way that I can make my petition to a king, but yet in music? Love on the brain, a God sex gathering. I need to find the head ruler or the head demon of a God sex gathering in 2026 that is telling my child to throw my food out. That is my request. It will be given you. What is your request? Even up to half the kingdom it will be gained. I want all of the gang members, and I want the ruler first of the gang of a God sex gatherings. That's what I want. Children being sold in sexual slavery to older men, especially even there by their young mothers who are not being given the choice whether to say yes or no. Then Queen Esther answered, "If I have found favor with you, your majesty, and if it pleases you, grant me my life. I do not want this female child in this house when this gang shows up, and I do not want the female child in this house when the gang leader of AGOT sex gatherings shows up, or when any of the choice makers of AGOT sex gatherings shows up, I do not want the female child in this home. She is severely affected. This is my petition, and spare my people. This is my request. For I and my people have been said to be destroyed, killed, and annihilated. If we had merely been sold as male and female slaves, I would have kept quiet, because no such distress would justify disturbing the king. When you ask me to clean the stove, I'm not complaining about cleaning the stove. I am complaining about the distress in my family by someone trying to sell my daughter for sexual activity, and that is what causes me to make more noise rather than about cleaning a fucking stove. King Xerxes asked Queen Esther, "Who is he? Where is he? The man who has dared to do such a thing?" That's exactly what I need. I need the information: who, what, where, when, and why, and how has he gained access to my daughter. That is exactly what I'm looking for. Esther said, "An adversary and enemy, this vile Haman." Then Haman then Haman was terrified before the king and queen. The king got up in a rage, left his wine, and went into the palace garden. But Haman, realizing that the king had already decided his fate, stayed to beg Queen Esther for his life. Just as the king returned from the palace garden to the banquet hall, Haman was falling on the couch where Esther was reclining. The king exclaimed, "Will he even molest the queen while she is with me in the house?" As soon as the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. If Belly Gillingham or any Asian counterpart other than Jon Stewart sits beside me, you'll be dead. That is my other wish to King Xerxes. Let anyone sit beside me in any way, shape, or form. I request them dead immediately. I don't like you. As soon as the word left the king's mouth, they covered Haman's face. Then Harbona, one of the eunuchs attending the king, said, "A pole reaching to a height of 50 cubits stands by Haman's house. He had it set up for Mordecai, who spoke up to help the king." The king said, "Impale him on it." So they impaled Haman on the pole, and he had set up for Mordecai. Then the king's fury subsided. So if I'm supposed to feel shame and disdain with having my food being thrown out 2 times now, but I was able to block it for the second time, isn't Haman supposed to feel embarrassment, shame, and disdain in regards to his actions? Or am I just supposed to be really stupid and not see that those who caused the problem must also suffer too? Therefore, if you are the problem, you will begin by living in the dark. Turn out the lights now, baby. Extra bright, I want y'all to see this. Turn out the lights now, baby. You know what I need? I want you to see everything. Want you to turn out all the lights. Whoa, whoa.